Hi, thank you for joining me. Today is the first day of Tax Studio. It's really uh, an exciting time to be here and to try and start the studio. We have tried to start this in a while, but we needed to wait for the for the for the for the law to be gazetted. And now that the law has been gazetted, it's now time for us to look at what the law is saying, what we have, and how we navigate it going forward. So it's a real privilege to be here today. And I really do thank everybody that has tuned in from everywhere. And it promised to be an exciting time. It promised to be we'll learn a lot of things together. We are going to be looking at what the law says, in the tax laws. We are really not here to support anybody or to castigate the law or present our own opinions. No, what we're just here doing is to talk about what the law is saying, so that in everything in life, they say that there's no ignorance in law. So the only thing we all want to do for ourselves is to understand what the law has said. So when we understand what the law has said, it will be very, very easy for us to comply. And it is in complying that we have our uh, the first opportunity to pay less taxes. If we don't comply, we are unable to achieve a lot of things. And I know the number one objective of everybody is to pay optimal taxes. Nobody wants to pay too much. But if you don't understand what the law even says, it is impossible for you to even know what you are paying or if what you pay is optimal. So the first thing you want to do is to ensure that you understand what the law is saying, and you'll do better when you stop arguing with the law. There's no point arguing with the law. Everybody that has argued with the law in the time past, they always lose against the law, because the law is written, and it is what has been written that the judiciary will always interpret. So it is in our interest that we understand what the law is saying. So I'm not going to waste too much of our time. This class today, the first episode of it, is to really expose what the law has said. It is not really, we are not doing too much today, but we are going to cover chapter 1 and chapter 2 of the Nigerian Tax Act. The Nigerian tax, the new laws, we have 4 of them. So we have the Nigerian Tax Administration Act. We have the Nigerian Tax Act. We have the Nigerian Revenue Service Act, and we have the Ombudsman Act. So in my own understanding, I see the Nigerian Tax Administration Act as what we should do, what is expected of every taxpayer to do. That's the way I interpret the Nigerian Tax Administration Act. The second one, Nigerian Tax Act. I have interpreted that as how we should do it. How we should do it. So you want to no, I think Nigerian Tax Administration Act is the how we should do it. It is just that just gives you the simple things like, oh, this is what you must do here, this is what you must do here, this is what you must do here. That tells you how you should do it. That's the Nigerian Tax Administration Act. Now, the most important one in my understanding is the Nigerian Tax Act, which is what exactly should you do? How, it goes into a little detail on what is expected of us. Then we have the Nigerian Revenue Service Act. That's how the tax authority should be governed, how they should operate and all. Then we have the fair umpire, which is the ombudsman. What that tries to do is to, when there are disagreements between taxpayer and the tax authority, nobody have the power of finality. There is always somebody that can help adjudicate, right? So that's why we have the ombudsman. But for now, what we are going to be checking on this studio will be the Nigerian Tax Act, what we should do. That's what we'll be checking. And we have over 180 sections of the law. So, and there are over 180 sections divided into many chapters. Some chapters covers more than one section, while some other chapters are just on a section. So today, being the episode 1, we're just going to touch on chapter 1, which essentially deals with section 1 and section 2 of the Nigerian Tax Act. So that's what we'll be looking to do today. And I do hope that you'll be here, you'll learn with me. You will ask your questions. I will see them. I'm streaming across many platforms, and I'm still able to see your questions, and I will answer them as much as I can. I'll try to restrict myself to the chapter 1 and chapter 2, section 1 and section 2, which are in chapter 1 of the Nigerian Tax Act. And so if you have questions, let me know, and in due time, I will respond to your questions. Yeah, thank you. So I will project so we can start in earnest. So today like I said, we're talking about the episode 1, which is which contains section 1 and section 2 of the law of the Nigerian Tax Act. So today, the focus of this chapter is essentially the objective of the tax law and the application of it. So today we are essentially looking at the objective of the law and its application. That's what we are talking about today. and we're hoping to spend about 60 minutes here or less, and we'll be covering section 1 and 2 of the Nigerian Tax Act. So I'm going to welcome everybody. As you all know, my name is Kayode Okunla, tax doctor. My handle is Tax Doctor NG everywhere, and I'm here to discuss this with us. So what we want to cover today, we're covering the objective and the purpose why we have a uniform tax law at the moment. That's what we are looking at the moment. So why do we have a unified tax law at this moment? Why do we have this unified tax law? And what exactly is the objective of it? What is the vision of this tax law? What the law says in section 1 is that the objective of this act is to provide a unified fiscal legislation governing taxation in Nigeria. What the government has tried to do is to say, let us centralize our tax laws. Let us avoid having several laws, and which makes it confusing or very difficult for people to be able to comply with. So at some point, you do have up to, without exaggeration, we used to have over 50 taxes. If you add up all the taxes that are collected by the states, the federal government, the state, and the local government, you find out that you have so much of taxes that we are not even enforcing. And if a local government official picks up a tax law and he writes you, you'll be thinking that, what kind of law is this? But the truth is, most of those laws are there. You also find a lot of laws that are obsolete. I remember when I was preparing for writing ICANN about over 20 years ago, right? There was one law that really got to me, and that is merriment tax. You know, that anytime people the local government is empowered to charge people merriment tax, right? I didn't realize that we have those things and many other laws that are just obsolete, but they are still in our laws. Anybody could have just bring them up and try to enforce you. And if they have tried it, they will probably have won if you try to test the law in the law court, because most of those laws have not been repealed. So it was a good thing to try to scrap so many of these obsolete laws and have a unified fiscal legislation, so that the man in Lagos and the man in Zamfara and the man in Ebonyi, or everywhere or anywhere you are in the country, right, you are subjected to the same set of tax laws. And what is this trying to achieve? It wants us to simplify the process of compliance. So you agree with me that if you have fewer laws, it's easier to comply with than having many laws. So when you have many laws, you have a mirage of laws to comply with, and you can only do as much as you can, when you have too many things to do. And so the main thing that we are trying to achieve with this tax law is to ensure that it simplifies compliance, making one of the attributes of a good tax system is the ease to comply. If you have a tax system that people have to struggle to comply, you are going to have a lot of defaults. Remember, taxes is not what people gladly pay. Human beings are naturally tax defaulters, because when you have to part with your money to give government, it's always difficult. So when you now even have a tax system that makes it difficult to comply, then the government is already losing, right? The second thing that this tax law is trying to do is to be consistent, right? We don't want someone interpreting the same section of the law today, right? And if you are interpreting it tomorrow, you are interpreting it in another way. No, a tax law that is not consistent is going to get people confused, and it will be difficult to comply with. That's why the law is trying to be consistent, right? Another thing that we are trying to see here is we are trying this the government is trying to modernize the tax system, right? You'll be able to do 90%, if not 100%, of your tax activities online. You won't have to be summoned to tax office to come and do reconciliation, or to come and have conversation, or somebody is writing you letter and making demands of you to come. No, the system is expecting that over your phone you can receive tax communication, and you can email and resolve things. You can if tax authority call for a meeting, you can opt that you want to have the meeting virtually, and they will understand, and you'll be able to have the meeting. What is important is the tax law is trying to remove all bottlenecks, and trying to make sure that a lot of the things being done in the tax system is now scientific. We're trying to remove a lot of subjectivity in the tax system. And that way, everybody is happy. You know what you are paying for. You see what you are paying for. You know the calculation of what you owe. And if you have some kind of disagreement with what has been demanded of you, there is a mechanism to solve the problem. So it won't be that if a taxman doesn't like your face, and he bills you what is outside of your liability. No, so that's also one of the things we are getting from this unified vision. For people that don't live in Nigeria, they have experienced how modern the tax system is outside of Nigeria. At the moment in Nigeria, the only tax body that is near to modern, there are just three in my assessment. The first is FIRS. The second is Lagos Internal Revenue Service, that's LRS. And the third is Abuja Revenue Service. Those three have a semblance of modern tax system. Every other state and local government, if we are going to assess their tax system, it's small. I will struggle to give any of them more than 30 or 40%. So there is still a lot of modernization that is required across board. And so that's what the system is trying to do, right? In some states now, to create a tax ID can take you months or a lot of manual work. Rather, if you are doing that with Lagos State at the moment, you just have to do that in front of your system and you are good. You are finished creating your ID almost immediately, or maybe 20, 30 minutes interval, you have your ID. So the system is going to ensure that across board, the experience of the man in Borno when it comes to interacting with the tax system will almost be at par with the experience of a man in Lagos, so that we have a complete modernized tax system. So that's the realm we are going. Now, what the law is trying to do is what I've said. Now, that's essentially what Section 1 talks about, right? Just talk about having one big vision, unify the tax system, let everybody have the same experience. The next one, which is the second section in the Nigerian Tax Act, is application. Again, if you read the law, the law says, this is the exact text of the law, that this act applies throughout Nigeria to any person required to comply with any provision of the tax law, whether personally or on behalf of another person. So this tax law will apply across all states of the federation. It's going to apply. You are not going to have different set of laws applying to people in different states. No, you are going to have the same law. Anywhere you are in the country is going to be the same law. Throughout Nigeria, any person is going to be the same law. That's what the law is saying. Now, let's take some real life situation. So the first situation is you have a business lady named Chioma, and she runs a thriving business in Lagos, right? And she sells online, right? Chioma will have to comply with all taxes if she's within the range of taxation. We are still going to discuss a number of things that will make her not be make her not pay taxes. But what we're saying is, anywhere you are, you will pay tax using the same law if you are supposed to pay tax, right? Also, for those who are employees, right? You're an employee of a company in Lagos, an employee of a company in Oyo or Ogun or Taraba. Everybody will pay the same kind of tax based on the law, right? Wherever you are going to pay the same kind of taxes. So that's what the law has said. And if we just look at, let's reflect. Let's have some reflection, because I know a lot of people are very angry and they are anxious. Many of the anger is coming from lack of knowledge or misinformation. So it is important that from today we know that the same tax law that applies to me in Lagos is the same that will apply to anybody anywhere in Nigeria. So you do not have to worry or fret about lack of equity. The tax law is broad now, less cumbersome, transparent. On your own, you will be able to know who you should pay to, what you should pay, and when you need help, you seek people that are trained in this trade. So in any area you work in the country, either you are in employment, either you own your own business, you build property for people to rent from you, you invest in shares and any other asset that gives you dividend, interest income. You are in the digital economy, i.e., you trade on cryptocurrency, freelance platforms, e-commerce, or you do professional services, just like me, like the consulting businesses. Everybody, all of us, are under this tax law. If you have not been paying your taxes before, there is no law that says you should not pay any tax before. No, there's no law that says you are not taxable. Maybe there's some part of law has exempted you from paying some aspect of tax, but not being in the tax net is not allowable. It's not what the law wants. So all of us are going to be in this tax net. You have to file returns. Within the tax system, if you are not supposed to pay tax, you will be exempted. Or if you are not supposed to pay any form of tax, or you are exempted on any form of tax, you still have to file your reports, you still have to file your returns, you still have to register and all. So in the days ahead, we will look at these sections, how it applies to what you do, how it applies to your business. But for today, the only message I have brought to you as we start this journey of learning these tax laws together, and if there's anything I want you to remember today, is that we have one set of tax laws. The objective is to make sure that everybody in the country operates within the same set of tax laws. The law will repeal and will repeal many obsolete laws. Then, the law that has been passed and gazetted will apply to all of us as Nigerians. It will apply to people that are not Nigerians that comes to earn money in Nigeria. It will apply to Nigerians living outside Nigeria but are earning income in Nigeria. So essentially, the tax is applicable to everybody who is earning income in Nigeria. And so, this is a call for a renewal of your mind. That is, you got to stop trying to argue with the tax law. Because from my exercise of reading these tax laws, I haven't seen much of how this tax law make people worse off. And I will explain what I mean. If you have been paying your taxes before, you are not owing any tax. As we move to 2026, you are likely going to be paying less taxes, except those that the law has classified to pay higher. In the days ahead, we are going to see those that will pay higher taxes, but generally, from the content of this law and the way the Revenue and Fiscal Policy Committee have emphasized that this law is not about introducing new laws, but rather to bring more people to pay taxes. So if we all have this understanding, what is now left for us is to understand the law and make sure that we guide ourselves well, conduct our businesses accordingly, such that in a bid to try to continue our way of not complying with the tax laws, then we create more problem, which will lead us to paying more taxes. So if you just understand this little admonition, the no tax law is not coming to increase your tax, rather is coming to make you pay less taxes. And you will see all of these things as we progress in this class. You will see how this tax law is making you pay less taxes as we progress. So do not try to be funny with the tax law, because the penalties for deliberate tax evasion is huge and is what you don't want to get yourself into. So until I come your way again tomorrow, you need to promise me that you'll start having a change of heart to the way you perceive the tax laws, so that you and I don't get into tax trouble unnecessarily. I really do wish you a very good time, or a very good rest of your day, until I come your way again tomorrow. Stay blessed.